Okay, let's go ahead and get started. My name's Katie. I am a member of the digital team if we've never met. Thank you for joining our webinar. Just a few admin things to go over before we start. If you have any questions, they will be answered at the end of the webinar. So if you could leave them in the Q&A tab, that would be great. This will be recorded and it will be sent out after today, after the webinar is over. And if you're having trouble seeing the presentation whenever it is shared, if you could just leave and come back, that usually fixes things. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce Sam. He is our SEM specialist here. He is going to be talking about mastering Google Ads. And take it away, Sam.
Okay. Hello. Thank you. Thank you for everyone attending right now. Like she said, my name's Sam Kenyon. I am the SEM specialist at CQ Partners. I have worked with CQ I'm celebrating my 10-year anniversary this month. And so I've worked with digital marketing for quite a while. And I'm excited to show you this presentation of what is some of the pillars of effective Google Ads. Now, when I talk about Google Ads, for this, I'm specifically talking about paid search. So when you search for hearing aids near me, those first three that are listed there, the text ads with the little yellow ad sponsor, those are what we're focusing on today. They are what is probably the highest intent users you can get because they're actively searching. It's not something like display. It's not something or a Facebook ad where you're getting in front of them first. These people are actually searching. So the intent of these users is high. They're farther down the funnel. Now, what I'm going to go over, some of it may seem complicated, but it's stuff that I believe you should know if you're doing Google Ads. You don't actually have to know how to set it up or do it, but it's something you should know. You know how your direct mail works. You know how if you do billboard, newspaper ad, you know how those work, what goes into them. Do you know what's going into your digital ads? That's what I find important here. So for this, the agenda, I'm going to talk about effective targeting, getting in front of the right users. Then once you're in front of the right users, your ads, getting them to actually convert and click the ad. And then third, what I believe is the most important part about doing Google Ads is you're optimizing with your data afterwards. Going back to direct mail, sure, you sent out a flyer or something. You can't change that afterwards. Google Ads, you can look at the data and optimize your current ad strategy, and it can be changed within a minute. So I think that's important to focus on. And then I'll open it up to questions at the end. So effective ad targeting. I could get your ad in front of 100,000 people. But would you rather have 100,000 people that are just 65 plus, or would you rather get your ad in front of 5,000, 10,000 in your area that are actively looking for hearing healthcare? I think everyone would pick the refined version of it. So what do we do to get effective targeting? Well, there's a couple of pillars here. First, we got to look at the keywords we're bidding on. So when I say bidding, it's what your budget goes to. So say we want to, target in our area, we need to look at branded and non-branded keywords. Branded is specific to your practice. Let's say ABC Audiology or Dr. Smith, something people are searching for, most likely a returning patient or someone who already knows about you. Those types of keywords, you'd rather rank organically for those more often than have your ads pop up because you're not paying for the organic listing, you're paying for the ad. And they're much easier for your practice to rank for branded keywords because your content is filled with stuff about your own practice. So Google knows to show your practice. Non-branded, however, are more vague, most likely new patients, stuff like ear doctor, hearing aids near me, audiologist near me, things like that. Things that are harder to rank higher for organically. Why? Because you're competing with everyone in your area about this. So it doesn't hurt to put some money behind ranking higher for these keywords. Now, I would say you want to do a variety of both. Sure, you do want to put in some branded keywords for your practice, but the majority of your budget should be towards non-branded keywords. Um, sometimes we hear, "Oh, I'm getting returning patients through my ads." Well, to that, I would say, that's a good thing. What if they were searching, found a different ad, and they clicked it, and they went to someone else? It's the cost of doing business. You really should still have your branded ads in there. Majority should still be keywords. Now, the other thing is, do you want to bid on competitors' branded keywords? Do you want to bid for XYZ audiology? That's a decision you really have to make and look at the data. If someone clicks XYZ audiology and it's your ad, are you able to convert them to a new patient if that's if they're searching for a specific branded keyword? I would say the conversion rate is extremely low there, and you might not want to invest in branded keywords of other practices. You certainly can't put the other practice's name in your ads. That goes against Google policy. Now, the keywords we bid on, I think it's important for everyone to understand the types of keywords. It may seem technical, but I think once you understand it, it makes more sense. So there's 3 types of keywords you can bid on. So say you want to bid on hearing specialist. Well, you can choose broad, phrase, or exact match keywords. Broad opens it up to a wide variety. It lets Google say, well, hearing specialist is a lot like ENT practice. So let's show them an ENT practices ad because it's broad. I will say Google has opened up broad match keywords a lot wider lately. We noticed a huge spike in people searching for ENT services that were then getting, ads for hearing aids. And unfortunately, that makes them click looking for ENT services and they don't convert. So then they click away. So you spent money on the ad, your cost per click, let's say $7. There goes $7, and you didn't convert. There are ways to prevent that, and I'm going to get to that later with the reporting. But that's important to keep in mind with this broad match. You might you think, oh, broad match, it'll cast a wide net. That's perfect, but every silver lining has a touch of gray, and that's what it is. It might match up with the wrong type of practice that you're thinking about or that they're looking for. Hearing specialist is say phrase match. Now we're getting more specific. So Google says they search for hearing specialist. We know that's related to audiologist. We can show the ad because they're bidding on audiologist. Perfect. That's great. That's more refined. I would say the majority of your keywords you have set up should be phrase match. Lastly, exact match. They search for hearing specialist. You have to be bidding on the keyword hearing specialist for it to show up. This could be good for like very specific uses, certain products you carry, things like that. Now, like I said, you should use a mix of all 3, but a primary focus on phrase match. Lastly, effective targeting. We have a couple other things that we need to consider. Do we target zip code or radius? Well, zip code allows us to hone in on certain areas that, maybe you want to target a more affluent area that are more likely to purchase. We want to get that zip code in there. However, radius, we're able to say, okay, 5 miles anywhere around your practice, they're more likely to drive to you. So we got to use a combination of both. Say there's an area outside your 5-mile radius, but those people drive or you're the only business that they go to in that area. Of course, you're going to want to do zip code there and also still a 5-mile radius around your practice. So you can do a combo of both. And the important thing with doing this is too, we can then look at the data of saying, hey, you're getting this many clicks from this zip code that are converting, and you're getting this many clicks from a zip code that aren't converting, and it's just spending a lot of your money. So maybe we stop targeting that zip code. The next thing we want to consider is who are we targeting? Are we just targeting residents of these locations, or do we want residents and visitors? I would say almost all of the time you want to target residents and visitors. Think of the person who their office, they go to work every day. They're outside your target area, but they drive to a business that's down the road from you and they work there. They could possibly be your patient. So we want to target them, even though they're outside your radius, because they visit your area. Think of the son or daughter who goes to visit their mother or father, and they go to visit them, and they're inside your target location. They go home and then they do research for their family to try to get their father or mother help. We'd want to target them too, right? So that's why you want to target both people who live in your area and visitors. This could be a reason why you might get someone calling who's 50 miles away, and you say, well, why are they calling me? Why am I targeting 50 miles away? This would be the reason. Then lastly, you know, a lot of Google Ads is refining in all aspects. So you want to refine your target location by telling Google also where to not target. So by saying, I don't want people from this zip code, they typically don't purchase. It's maybe a lower income area. I don't want to target that location. Or, there's another business in that area that I just can't break through to. I don't want to target that location. It's wasting clicks. Or I'm right near, a state border. People don't cross over the state border to come to me. I don't want to target that state, even though my radius might overlap. So it's important to refine how we target. So these are what I believe are the three real pillars of getting effective targeting for Google search. So now we got in front of the right audience. Now we got the hard part of making them click and convert. Think of the targeting as, getting the impression, getting in front of them, and then the actual ad and getting them to click to be the conversion. So I want to break down how Google ads look and what the purpose of them are. So over here, you can see on the right an example of a CQ Google ad that we've run. So the top part, highlighted in yellow, is called the headline. And you develop headlines by giving Google multiple prompts to use. You can upload a list of 20 headlines. Google then will create a headline for you based on all of the ones you give it. It will create multiple headlines using a combination of 1 to 3 headlines. You can see here, the one over here has simple hearing consultations, hearing test clinic, reconnect to what you love. Those are 3 different headlines. Google makes these based on their algorithm after it has so much data through its learning phase on what is performing, and then creates these ads, the ones that get the most clicks. Because Google likes when they serve up the right ad to get clicks, because they make money and you get the conversion. It's important in these headlines to always use keywords that people are searching for. It creates ad relevancy, so Google likes to see that, makes it rank higher, plus it relates to what the person's searching for. You can see here, most likely we have hearing test clinic as a keyword we're bidding on, or hearing consultation, so it's in the headline. Also, one of the most important things is a unique value proposition to make your ads stand out against others. For example, this one, reconnect to what you love. If you have a certain slogan or brand that your practice uses, this is where we would implement that unique value proposition within the character limit, obviously, because we can only have so many. People say sometimes to me, I'd like to see example of I want to see all my ads I'm running. It's not necessarily possible to show you all the ads you're running because of how Google makes these responsive ads. It could be hundreds upon thousands of ads. We let Google's algorithm do the work and learn. As Google's algorithm keeps trucking, we end up creating the best ads that perform based on what it's learned. The second part highlighted here, this is the description. This is where you can be a little more detailed about your services, what you offer, and it's a longer character count. This, you have 4 descriptions you can create, and that paired up with the 20 headlines creates an infinite number of ads. The one main thing you definitely want here in your description is a call to action. For example, here, schedule an appointment today. You always want to leave them with what they need to do next because that's what a user needs to be told what to do. That's the description. Moving on from that, I want to talk about these other little tweaks you can add into your ads to really round them out, make them more complete. These are always optional things you can add in Google Ads, but Google likes to see it because you're more engaged. It provides a better experience for the user. First thing is site links. That's those buttons down at the bottom. They don't appear all the time, but sometimes Google will serve them up. This offers other pages of your site for a user to click that might be more specific. It'll still be tagged as an ad and still be credited as an ad conversion, but it might bring them to something specific that they're looking for. The other part is you might not see this frequently, but it does appear is this image asset here. You can upload a variety of images and have them appear alongside your Google search ads. Users can click it, go to the landing page. It draws their eye to your ad, opposed to others. And the reason we want these, even if they're not getting clicked, is what does this do? There's only so much real estate on the screen. So this is pushing down your competitors' ads. And as we know, people don't typically scroll that long until they click. So if you push them down off the screen, you're the only one on top of the fold, chances are your ads are getting clicked more often. So we're taking up real estate, even if these parts aren't being used. Lastly, as I talked about, not all of the ad assets always appear. It's how Google serves them up. This one here has a call asset. This, I believe, is the most valuable thing you can add to your ads, because what this does is it allows someone to click the phone number immediately without going to a landing page and have to take another step to call or fill out a form or schedule an appointment. They click that, they're connected to your front office person within seconds. So this is a very valuable asset. That is the anatomy of a Google ad, so to speak, and what is best practices for this. Lastly, what I want to talk about, so you had your ads running, they're going, you got the right targeting, but you don't just set your ads and forget them. It's not like that. You need to look at the data, see what's converting, see what isn't converting, and optimize. Granted, a lot of optimization comes from Google's algorithm, and they do a lot for you, but there's still some stuff you need to decide. So how do we refine our ads? Well, there's a couple ways, and this isn't just all of them, but this is the basics. So after about 14 days of your campaign running, you exit what's called the learning phase. So Google's collecting all this data. They're not spending your budget as quickly, and they're learning what's performing. So if you make a bunch of edits to your ads after the learning phase, it's going to go back into the learning phase because Google keeps needing to do this. I wouldn't say never edit your ads. I would just say you don't want to change targeting, ad copy, all this day after day. You at least want it to run for a little bit to perform. So after the learning phase is over, I would even give it another 14, 15 days. Look at your 30-day window there. And you got to start looking at your clicks versus your conversions. So your clicks, you look at your keywords, what keywords are getting clicked, and then what keywords are converting. Because if your keywords are the keywords you're bidding on are getting clicked and they're not converting, then we might want to get rid of them. So the healthcare industry, the average conversion rate is 2 to 3%. So if you look at a keyword, and by conversion, I mean phone call, form fill, online appointment. That's how we measure conversion. If you look at your conversion rate of a keyword and it's 6%, we'd want to keep that keyword. We could even make a bid adjustment to bid higher on that keyword. If you're looking at a keyword that has 0.5, it's getting clicks but no conversions, you might want to get rid of that keyword. If it's 0% conversion rate, you probably want to get rid of that keyword. It's called a non-serving keyword. It's spending your budget, but it's not serving you those conversions you want. A perfect example of this is a lot of our accounts, we go through and get rid of tinnitus keywords. Why? Because, if a practice specializes in tinnitus, obviously we'd want to focus on that keyword. But what we found is a lot of people searching for tinnitus aren't searching for a professional to help with it. They're searching for at-home remedies. They're doing their own research, so to speak. So that keyword would typically spend quite a bit because it'd get a lot of clicks, but the conversion was very low. So you want to get rid of that keyword, or at least not bid on it. Now you say, well, what about the broad match keywords we're bidding on? How can I prevent them from linking to tinnitus? Well, that's where then once you see you have so many searches that are actually linking to your keywords, you can put in negative keywords. So let's say tinnitus, you keep getting a lot of clicks for, but broad match is making it so you're still being seen for tinnitus. You put in a negative keyword for that. More specifically, say your ads are getting matched up with people searching for Costco hearing aids. Well, Costco hearing aids also has a very low conversion rate, but people are clicking. And when that happens, what are the odds of you converting someone specifically looking for Costco hearing aids to being your patient? It's a lot more difficult than someone searching for ear doctor near me. So I would rather not show up for Costco hearing aids, put a negative keyword in for that to make sure we're not showing up for it, and put more of our budget towards ear doctor near me. And then lastly, once all of this is run, you can look at how is your budget performing in your area? Are your ads, say, if you look at like impression share, is if your ads are being seen by 1,000 people, but the potential in your area is 10,000 people, but your budget gets exhausted every day and gets turned off and then restarts the next day, well, then you know you can still reach more of those users without diminishing returns. So you'd want to then increase your budget to account for that and then therefore capture more patients. Um, I think this one is a crucial one, increasing the budget. It is something that obviously you need more data for. Sometimes Google will come right out and say your campaign's limited by budget. Other times you got to look at the impression share and what the potential is in your area. So that's just fundamentals on how to optimize your ads after they've run. I know that was a lot. I know there are some things that might be a little more complicated, but with that, I'd like to mention that anyone on this call, I am available for a personalized one-on-one Google consultation, Google Ads consultation. You don't have to run ads with us, or you could be running ads with us. We can review your account. We can strategize what you could be running. And even if you're running ads through another company, that's fine. You can contact your account manager, and I'd be happy to go over any of this with you again. Thank you for everyone who joined. If there's any questions, now would be the time. I can answer them. I am having a tough time seeing any Teams dialogue here. Okay. I was. Oh, thank you, Jim. Jim says we do a wonderful job of analyzing the data and making corrections on their behalf. Yes, we absolutely do. We are in ad accounts every day looking at this stuff. I think we want to batch updates, like I said, because it will re-enter the learning phase. But yes, we are looking at this, and we would make edits, twice a month, typically. Will you have access to the recording of this webinar? Yes, absolutely. We will be sending that out afterwards. It's also available on my CQ. We'll be posting that after within 24 hours. I would also like to mention that we have, I realized I wasn't sharing this. We also have a webinar coming up on August 20th, and that will be hosted by Sarah Franks, and it will be going over what you can expect for Reconnect 2026. Reconnect 26. It'll be very exciting. You'll get to ask all the questions, and we'll be revealing some more information about it. So look forward to that as well. Okay. Well, I appreciate everyone joining, and thank you, and have a great rest of your week.